activity, we're going to take a high-level look into building out a product strategy. Before a product manager dives into the details of their roadmap and developing product features, it's important for them to take a goal-first approach to strategically plan out what they want to achieve. Product strategy is the process of defining what you want to achieve for your product and how you plan to get there. A good starting point for developing a product strategy is deciding what your North Star metric will be. Your North Star metric, or NSM for short, is the name given to the one metric that is the clearest indicator that a product is doing well. It is the one key metric that shines amongst others to guide your growth path. A good North Star metric is one that is measurable, shows value to your users, helps your business grow, and is aligned with your mission. When you identify the right North Star metric and stick to it, you improve customer revenue and value. Take a look at these examples of North Star metrics. Each of these metrics are measurable and clearly demonstrate value to the users that they serve. Once you've taken time to consider what North Star metric will help steer your company, the next step is to build reporting and measuring structure that sits beneath and supports this metric. These are most commonly called Key Performance Indicators, or KPIs. Product managers will use KPI data to monitor the success or failure of a product. KPIs can also identify changes which might require immediate action. If we go back to our earlier example of Spotify, we can remember that their North Star metric was time spent listening. So we can also deduce the types of KPIs that would be in place to measure against this North Star metric. You can see on the screen that these might include average playing time per user, or the total playing time for all users per day, the total playing time for all users per song per day, and the average number of skips per user. When setting KPIs, it is important not to set vanity metrics. Vanity metrics are statistics that look spectacular on the surface, but don't necessarily translate to any meaningful business results. Examples include the number of social media followers, or the number of views on a promotional video. While the data may seem superficially impressive, these metrics do not accurately reflect an organization's key drivers. For example, active users, engagement, the cost of acquiring new customers, to name but a few. And they provide very little insight into how a product or initiative relates to broader business objectives. It is valuable when looking at KPIs to measure in cohorts of users and to blend in qualitative user feedback. This qualitative data helps bring empathy into your product decisions. Numbers will never tell you exactly what your customers really want, but when you can relate to the pain and experiences of the real people using your product, you set yourself up to deliver a truly valuable solution. When measuring satisfaction, it is important this is blended across the entire user journey. Happiness will peak and dip as the user interacts with different product features. Over time, attractive features become must-haves. Before you start building your product roadmap, it is crucial that you understand your customers, their needs and their pain points. Creating user personas is one way to empathize with your customers and to understand what matters to them. It is important to note that there can be many types of user personas associated with one product. For example, for some tech products, you would want to split out your personas for those that use your product every day and for those that administer your product. Being able to understand your user personas helps product managers to explain the why behind product decisions. It allows product managers to focus on the needs of the most important user groups, prioritize features that solve actual user problems, and implement new functionality in line with how customers will actually use it. The details that would be important to capture depend on the industry, market, and type of product. Here are a few different types of information that can be very useful to gather. Once you have a good understanding of your product strategy and users, you can start to build out your product roadmap. A product roadmap is a guide that joins your short-term and long-term goals together. It outlines how you hope to achieve these goals. Product roadmaps can span a variety of timeframes. That's because different companies and teams can have different timelines. One way of looking at a product roadmap could be to paint a forecast for the next 12 months, and commonly you might divide this into 4 quarters. These roadmaps will then be used as a communication tool to share the product strategy with the rest of the business and the priorities to achieve it. This includes the engineering team, who would then be responsible for actioning against the roadmap and building out the product features. A product cannot be successful without offering features to its users. Product features are a product's traits or attributes that deliver value to end users and help to differentiate that product in market. When it comes to software, product features can include any of the application's functionalities, capabilities, and even visual characteristics. But the key trait of any product feature should be the value or benefit it provides to the user. If we go back to our example of Spotify, there are several features that Spotify have built that clearly line up with their North Star metric of improving time spent listening. To drive engagement, Spotify came up with their Discover Weekly playlist, which is a personalized playlist updated every Monday. This cadence of high-value, personalized content drives repeat and, in some cases, habitual engagement. On a much smaller scale, Spotify also have an autoplay feature, so that when you finish an album or playlist, Spotify continues to play similar music that can be seamlessly saved for future listening. There are only so many features that can be developed over a given time, so product managers are responsible for deciding which features should be developed and in what order. We need to ruthlessly prioritize features before we run out of resources. There are lots of different prioritization techniques that a product manager might want to use, and we will provide resources for those at the end of this activity. But there are some fundamental factors to always bear in mind. For example, is the feature aligned to the overall mission or goal? Is there already a substitute? What level of effort is associated with building that feature? How scalable is it? i.e., is it relevant to all users or only a few? Usage frequency. How often will this feature be used? Will it provide a competitive edge and strengthen the position in the market? When creating your roadmap and prioritizing features, this should be done in an Agile framework. This means taking an adaptive approach to product planning and implementation so that you can quickly respond to feedback. At its core, Agile product management is a response to the widespread use of Agile software development methodologies, such as Scrum and Kanban. These methods emphasize evolutionary development, early delivery, and continuous improvement. Once a product feature is launched, product teams will continue to monitor their performance, gain customer feedback, test out new variants, and release new versions. This continuous and iterative process helps to de-risk the development cycle and help product teams build products that customers love.